What's up? How you doing? Beautiful night tonight. Mild. And right now it's 1:11 a.m. December 31st, 2024. The last day of the year. Made some tea. Very nice tea. So this is a Viewmaster. And this is brand new. This is not from the old days, but when I was a kid I had one of these, and I had a big one too. I don't know what the big one was for. I never figured out what. I think it was for sound. That extra bottom thing, it was a blue one, nice and heavy. This is how we entertained ourselves back then. I feel like those people that, when I was a kid were 80 years old and they would tell me things like the movies were 15 cents and that included popcorn. But this is brand new, but it's flimsier. They figured out a way how to make it cheaper, how to make it with thinner plastic, very light. But when you look inside, looks the same. And I remember these things. These things were fascinating to me. I would go to back then we had a store. It was kind of like Best Buy. And I'd go on the side there and I'd see all the packets, the different ones, and I would get like an updated one. Tell my father, can I get one? He'd say, what's that for? And I'd say for my Viewmaster. And he'd say, yeah, I got one. And then I'd go home and for about 10 minutes I would be fascinated with the new stuff. And then you get used to it, you throw it aside. Until the following week when you'd go back there and buy another one. So this one has a few. I remember I had one with Peter Pan. Fascinated with that one. Beautiful night though. Yeah, looking at this is not any cheaper. This feels the same quality. I guess they couldn't make it any cheaper. But I remember looking at this and going, wow, this is so cool. Now you give this to a kid, they laugh at you. Wow. This one has dinosaurs. Very nice. Obviously it's kind of dark out. I can still see it though. This one has dinosaurs, this one fish, and this one wild animals like cheetah. There's a cheetah. Reminds me of Carl, what was his name? Carl Perkins. National Omaha's Wild Kingdom or something like that. My father loved that show. He'd say, oh, that show's on. And we'd sit there and watch it. My grandfather too, same thing. What was it? National Omaha's Wild Kingdom or something Omaha Insurance Wild Kingdom, I don't know, something like that. Very quiet out here. So I have my cutting board for some cheese. I got a knife for the cheese. I went and got some really tasty cheese. This is Old Witch. So this is about $21, no, $23.90 a pound. $23.90 for a pound. This is half a pound. And this one here is Gruyere de Beaufort. That's why it was horrible in French. So Beaufort, I said to her, you have any Beaufort? Or Beaufort, I think I said Beaufort, and she understood. She goes, oh yes, I have that. So she cut me a slice, like it's not even a triangle. I wish it was a triangle. This thing is like a flat rock. So we're gonna try some. Cheese has that smell. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So this one, did I mention the price on this one in case you're interested? This one is about $40 or $37 a pound. I got a half a pound. It's a little more than a half, so it's like $20 for this. This piece is $20. This piece. See? 20 bucks. We cut a little bit here. I will tell you though, when you smell it, it smells like feet. It smells like feet. But when you eat it, after a few seconds, you say to yourself, "That's pretty good." But it does. It has a smells like feet. It smells like feet after you've taken your socks off, after you walked about 12 miles. That's what it smells like. Cut the ends off and try it out. Good flavor. Very good flavor. But like I said, it smells like feet. I'm not going to eat too much tonight. I had dinner, so I'm not hungry. Well, we wrap up the feet. Yeah, the flavor is really good. I recommend it. And I guess if you have enough of it, the smell doesn't smell that bad. Like now that I've had a little bit, it smells like good quality cheese. But when you first open it up, it smells like feet inside a locker, inside shoes that have walked 12 miles. Delicious tea. Good stuff. Old Witch. Yeah, very good flavor. This one is in a shape of what you expect it to look like a triangle, like a wedge. Yeah, that tastes good now. So we cut a little bit here, cut the ends off. You can probably eat that, I don't know. This one does not smell like feet. This one has a, I don't know, it smells like cheese, but not feet. That's good too. That's really good. Rich, creamy. Like I said, it's called Old Witch. You hear that? Mama's boy rushing to get home. Give Mama a little cheek on the cheek, a little kiss on the cheek, on the forehead. Yeah, that's pretty good. This kind of cheese is good for you. It's aged for a very long time. Sog. Good knife. Look at that. Very sharp. Nice handle. Ergonomic. Feels great. Fits just right. I've had this for many years now. Leather sheath. Comes with a sharpening stone. case it gets dull. Cut another piece of this Old Witch, Old Miss John Glenn. Good quality, good quality. Remember these poppets? I don't know if you can see that. So it's a Fun Trick noisemaker. I remember when I was a kid, these were so popular. You know, you'd go to a store, they had them, and you'd beg your father or mother to buy you a pack. And then you'd open it up and start throwing it, and people would look around like, what was that? Now, I don't even know how they made a comeback. I don't know what kid buys these and has fun with them. Nobody. People my age. That's who buys it. But back then we would hurl them. When they'd hit the ground, they'd pop. And then I would make them bigger. I'd take 3 or 4 of them, separate them, put them in a tissue, and then throw the tissue. I don't know if they could cause a fire. I don't know. But there's 50 pieces in here. Poppets. Yeah. Little things we played with. We had fun. And remember those caps? They would go into the cap guns. Well, we wouldn't put them in the cap gun. We would take them, put them on the sidewalk, open them up, and find a pointy rock and start popping them. Sometimes we take the whole thing, the whole round caps thing, put it down and start smashing with a big rock where, you know, 10, 15 of them would pop at a time. And we had fun doing that. Yeah, I like the good cheese. I'm going to cut a thin piece of this and then I'm putting it away. Okay. Yeah, not tonight, but today, earlier, yesterday actually, because now it's the 31st, I went out shopping. Supermarkets were crazy. Supermarkets were full. I went to the butcher shop. That was packed. Crazy. I was watching a documentary about Muhammad Ali. Big fan of Muhammad Ali's. My father and I, when I was a kid, would watch those fights. I'd stay up. I was like, when's this fight starting? You know, when you're a kid, 11 o'clock seems like forever. But I guess he had money issues at the end of his career. He had to keep fighting. Even though he denied it, Howard Cosell asked him, the New York Times, he said, reported that you were out of money. Is it true? And he danced around the question. He didn't really answer it. And then he said, no, I'm not. That's not true. But not really answering it seriously. It was almost like joking. But that's why he was fighting. And He lost to Spinks, Leon, and then he made a comeback and he won the fight. He won the rematch, legitimately. I mean, they didn't just give it to him, because they have given fights to him that he actually lost, like Ken Norton beat him up, and they gave Muhammad Ali the decision. Ken Norton got robbed on that one. But on the Leon Spinks fight, I thought, he sounded kind of like, a little slurry. He wasn't really speaking clearly. And I don't know, if he had money, he'd retire right after he won the championship for a third time. He'd say, okay, I'm done. But he ended up fighting again. And he fought Larry Holmes, and he got beaten badly in that one. And then he fought again. So he had an excuse for the Larry Holmes fight. He said that his thyroid was not working. I guess it was overhyper or something. Is that what it's called? And so they gave him medication, and the medication dehydrated him. So when he went into that fight, he was exhausted, and he ended up losing. So then he said, I'm done, and then he made another comeback. He said, I'm done after the Leon Spinks fight. He promised Howard Cosell that he was not fighting again, only to back out of that and fight Larry Holmes. And Larry Holmes, he was a tough opponent. Even in Ali's prime, Larry Holmes would have given him a hard time. Larry Holmes had that jab. He was a technician. He was a good boxer. Always respected Larry. He fought all comers. He didn't dodge. He had 20 title defenses, I think. 20 title defenses. I think that's only second to Joe Louis. Or maybe now that Klitschkov, the guy from the Ukraine, I think he might have passed that. So maybe Larry Holmes is the third most title defense fighter. But I know Larry Holmes had 20. Got to look at the Klitschkov guy, the Ukrainian-Russian guy. He might have had 25 or 22 or something. But I used to enjoy watching Larry Holmes fight. A lot of times he'd fall behind, and then he'd slowly use the jab. He'd use the jab and box his way back and win the fight. Good fighter. He knew the sport of boxing well. I mean, he wasn't a Tyson type fighter that you get swarmed, or Rocky Marciano, same style as Mike Tyson. Frazier fought that way, but he was a technician. He was a strategist. Good fighter. I really enjoyed Larry Holmes' career, but Muhammad Ali had no business fighting him. And I will say that Muhammad Ali was an old 38 when he was 38. There are guys nowadays, they're 38 years old and they're fighting guys in their 20s, and they're beating them, But back then, when you hit your mid-30s in boxing, you were done. Now it's not the same. Now there are guys 36 years old, and they're kind of like in the middle of their career. What that noise is. You hear the commentators talking about, oh, you're 36 years old. You're old now, and it's a different world today. I mean, I don't know if they train in a way where 36 is not as old, but they don't even look as old. I see fighters now, they're 35, 36, 37. Some of them are 40 years old, and they're moving around like they're 25. So yeah, it's got a good flavor, man. I can't believe it's going to be 2025 and what, 23 hours, 22 and a half hours, whole year, just boom. I remember when 2020 rolled in, and the coronavirus was lurking, and even that is 5 years ago now. Time is relentless, does not stop for anything, just continues marching on. Boom, boom, boom. Already what I just said is in the past. But it just, boom, boom. I remember being a kid, and 1980. Thought it was like a cool thing. It's 1980. Big deal. What's the big deal of that? I was talking to somebody this is years ago. They're not alive anymore, but they were born in 1910. And they were telling me when the 40s rolled around, he and others, his age, thought that it was so futuristic that they were in the 1940s. I'm like, yeah, very futuristic. That's the way we felt about the year 2000. Remember that Y2K stuff? Everybody was worried. Everything was going to shut down. Nothing really happened. I guess you can make the argument that they caught it ahead of time. They replaced all the components in the computers and everything worked out. But yeah, there was a lot of hype there, the Y2K thing. And that seems like yesterday, 25 years ago. But yeah, I remember he was telling me that when 1940 rolled around, they were like, wow, can you believe it? It's 1940? I liked the perception, just point of view, It's like, for us, it was, people of my generation, the year 2000 was a big deal. And so what? Big deal. It was like 2 and 3 zeros. And so what? And here we are 25 years after that. Quarter century has passed. And the older you get, the less impressive time distance is. When I was younger, like say when I was 30, if somebody said 25 years ago something happened, I'd be like, wow, long time ago. But now I think about 25 years ago, and it's a wink of an eye. Wink of an eye. So today I could see Jupiter, Neptune, and I think that was it. But the night before I could see Jupiter, I saw Neptune, Uranus, I saw that one, and Mars. Oh, tonight Mars was out too. It was right there about an hour ago. Now it's on the other side. I can't see it. I feel like having more cheese. That was not bad. Might have a little bit more. Just a little bit. Want to have some of this Old Witch. Saw a weird dream last night. I'll tell you about it in a second. Like a mummy. So I was having this dream, and I have a lot of dreams, very story-oriented dreams, Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're weird. Sometimes they make absolutely zero sense. But other times it's like plots. They make sense. Not 100% sense. They're just weird. Dreams. So this one I was visiting friends that we know in real life, but they're in the dream. They divorced, but in the dream they're together, and they bought a house, and the house is weird. So, you know, we're over there visiting, and first of all, it's big inside, but it's got a lot of hallways. It's got like a big exterior hallway. I mean, it's in the house, but it's on the outside of the room. It's going around the circumference of the house inside. There's hallways in the center. It looks like a big, you know, Scooby-Doo house where they go and they bust who's pretending to be a ghost. That type of a house. And these rooms, tons of rooms. Every door you open, there's a room, but it's all messy in there. There's dolls, like children's things, like dolls and stuff. And what it looks like in the dream, I don't know if you've ever seen those images of out in Nevada, out in Nevada, where they're testing the nuclear weapons, and they make these houses, and they put, you know, mannequins in there, and, you know, dolls and stuff. That's exactly what this house looks like, except bigger. And in the dream, they inform me that it was built in the 1800s. And it looks like East Coast house, you know, not out here. And I'm walking around, I'm looking at it, I go, wow, it's weird. It's like like I said, like a house or a castle from the Scooby-Doo show. So I had that, and in the dream, like I said, there's a lot of toys and bits and pieces of things like dolls and all that stuff. And I find a little, I don't know, it's like a head with a little body, and it's porcelain, the head. And they told me in the dream that they're throwing everything out. So I grabbed that, and I end up going up to Bakersfield, and there's an antique shop there, and I go in there and I ask them how much, you know, can I sell that for to them? And they go, let me look at that. So they brought out this lady expert, and she looked at it, and she said, 300. I said, 300? Yeah. She goes, you give us 300 and we'll take it. And I'm like, I'm going to give you 300 to take this? Why? And she's like, well, that's what it's worth. And I go, yeah, but it's kind of mine right now. So if you want it, or if I want to sell it, somebody's going to give me the 300. And she goes, no. She goes, you give us the 300 and we'll take it from you. So that's the thing in the dream. It didn't make sense. Why would I give her? And then I said to myself, if it's worth, helicopter there, if it's worth that was LAPD. I don't know what they're doing out at this hour. What time is it right now? I'll tell you. 1:39 in the AM, December 31st, 2024. So anyway, I said if it's worth 300, I'm gonna give it back to those people. Obviously, they didn't realize that it was worth 300. So yeah, that's what happened in that dream. And then, for some reason, I'm in my house. Like the dream is continuing. It's like I'm in my house, but really I'm in their house, and I'm sleeping in one of the rooms in this big house. And the police, they come and they want to talk to me about them. They want to ask me some questions, and I'm not dressed yet. I'm in the bathroom trying to get ready to go down, and they're knocking. And then finally I go down there, but no one's there anymore. Now it's just like I imagined it. So, have another piece. Delicious. Anyway, that's it for now, I think. I'll be back, or I will be back. And tomorrow, New Year's Eve, you know, not doing much. Be home, Years ago, we'd turn on Dick Clark, New York City. Now we turn on Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest. And we watch that. But it's like a wink of an eye when it's over. When you're going through it, obviously it's not a wink of an eye. It takes a long time when you're going through it. But I think it's our mind, the way we capture memories, that you remember certain key moments in the day, but you don't remember every second. And that's why it seemed like it went by fast. It would be like if somebody gave you anesthesia and put you out for, 24 hours, and then you woke up. It would be like the day went by like that. Because you wouldn't remember it. Same thing, you remember certain key moments in the week, in the month, and the rest of it, evaporates like magic. And you don't remember every detail of every single second of every single day. And even if you did, it would still, you'd still say, wow, that went fast. But because you don't remember it, it seems a lot shorter the time. And the older you get, the memory is almost full at some point. So you have to be selective. Your brain is selective as to what it remembers. When you're younger, you remember a lot more detail. Hence why the time seems to go slower when you're younger, because you remember more of it. That's what I think. So, yeah. I will go up, get some sleep, and then see what happens tomorrow. So, that's it for now. Ciao.